What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am BDLM, coming with my buddy J4Y, bringing you episode number 93 of our Dota On Demand podcast. As you can see, the normal setup, completely standard. Everyone tuning in. I probably sound exactly the same. How are you doing, buddy?
Probably. I think we're doing this. This is going back to the days of you were house sitting for someone, and there was a dog in the background. No dogs here.
No dogs.
Actually, neighbors may have dogs. I'm not aware of that, but yeah, we're actually in the same room. This time, though, we have a webcam for the duo cast.
Yes.
And it's pretty cool. It was very spontaneous, this whole thing. It just kind of happened over day. I was going to say overnight, but it really was literally earlier this morning. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how you guys feel about it. If it sounds kind of funky, if we can always make improvements too, which obviously maybe a little more planning would help with that.
Maybe. we found that the sound quality was the best when we were both on either side of J4Y's new giant microphone, staring longingly into each other's eyes. But we figured that would be awkward for you all. So we decided to just do this. Hopefully it'll suffice.
Right.
But yeah, we're doing this. We had our little bro date going. We had dinner. We're doing this. And then this could quite possibly be the last episode of Dota On Demand because we're going to go play sport after this.
Oh, I know.
We may murder one another outright.
Did you have a name? Did you have a name for what we're calling that?
Murdering one another?
Oh, no. The going outside part for us.
Oh, yes. But now that you're putting me on the spot.
It was like Dota outside or
Dota On Demand goes outside?
Something like that.
Well, it'll be great.
It'll be great. We'll
Don't
have
worry.
it down.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. But this week it's gonna be great. I feel like the last couple weeks I've been throwing around the phrase "awesome show" for you guys, but I actually really like the topic. It's interesting. We got some fun stats. We got new stats actually. One that I was like, this is gonna be really cool to talk about that I didn't even expect to find. We're gonna, I guess, for the just say it, just say it.
The meat and potatoes?
The meat and potatoes.
Yes.
Going to be talking about some heroes current in the metagame, and going from just honorable mentions to heroes that have completely changed the way they work and function compared to patches in the past. So that should be a lot of fun. But first things first, we had our Dota On Demand question of the week. The first ever question of the week. Excite.
Got a lot of responses.
It
was really cool. I appreciate all you guys coming out here on both the Twitter and the Facebook. No YouTube comments. Maybe we gotta work on that a little bit. But firing on 2 out of 3 cylinders. It's passing in the state of Maryland, so
probably
we're good over here. Yeah, but the question, if you guys don't recall exactly, was what successful troll strategies have you implemented in your games that you'd like to share with us? So we've got a whole bunch. We're probably gonna go into a good amount of them.
Yes.
I guess I'll start off with. And gotta give you guys the credit that's due here, so I'll give you a nice little shout out. Erica on Twitter says she likes to go Lifestealer with Spirit Breaker.
Solid.
And I guess so bombing essentially. She likes to do bombing, but with Spirit Breaker.
Yes, I also seem to remember her saying on the Facebook that she did not have a good time against Tiny Axe because throw OP.
Throw taunt.
Axe.
Not good.
It works pretty well.
Tiny Centaur does a similar job, but
yeah, that's a pretty good bomb.
I do enjoy that.
That's actually, I feel like, an interesting one because I think we may have mentioned it before, but when you look at Pebbles from Heroes of New Earth, dead game,
dead game,
you would actually toss your closest target, whereas in Dota, it's random, someone within a range, so you can sort of plan it out. If there's only one person, probably gonna toss them. But I'll be honest, I think that's actually a really cool thing about Dota is because you figure, here's New Earth, Pebbles is actually getting played as a support in some situations. So it's kind of nice that you can't dependably throw somebody in that is a crazy good initiator. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of like the little random factor. It makes him not as... he's already such a strong hero. Does that would just make him kind of unnecessarily strong. And we kind of call that more of a grenade in that strategy because, that's kind of more what it's replicating, I'd have to say. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting, though. I haven't actually seen that combo work. And I know I will never try that. Maybe I'll be the axe. I could be the person that just stands there and you throw me. But as far as the tossing, I could never, ever get it right. I always try to toss one target, never is that target. So,
yeah, that's unfortunate. I have to say too, this last week, I don't know why I've just been jonesing to play some support Zeus. I never did it after it was a thing, and then Zeus had a 25% win rate, and then you stopped seeing it. But yeah, Joe was a champion, and let me play a support Zeus to his axe, and we had a Shadow Shaman, aggressive Tri-Lane. Worked really well until there was an Omni Knight on the other side that hit level 2, and as it turns out, that sort of messes with the dynamic.
The D-Gen auras, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, D-Gen aura stats next level.
It was too difficult. You were going too slow. You said, screw this. I can't handle this.
Can't get away from that. Can't catch up to him to taunt.
Yeah, that Omni Knight will throw a big wrench in that strategy. Zeus and Shadow Shaman a little magic dependent, but
Tiny Omni Knight.
Throw and heal.
The
heal. Alley-oop.
And then you have Radiance, so...
Oh, Blink Dagger first.
That's why you have Tiny, so you can skip the Blink and rush the Radiance.
Oh, wow, these strategies are next level.
Next level.
So we spent a lot of time on that couple strategies. Let's go through a couple others that we have here. I'm still on the Twitter for now. Let's see. We got Zester, who... Zesty. In our league, mopping it up like usual. He said probably his favorite he's done recently was the Tusk Centaur. So it works a couple good ways. First of all, you can snowball, and then at the end of it, do a nice little stomp. Kapow, Walrus Punch, Ownage.
All right.
The other one that we just literally had to think about for a while was the fact that the Centaur ult with the snowball is amazing.
It does work.
Do you want to explain that for these people?
No, I don't, but I will. In that, the snowball movement speed based upon Tusk's movement speed. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to pile people in your clown car and go rolling into them. You just go like, what's up, pop that stampede. I'm coming for you.
That snowball's going light speed. Probably will catch up to anyone it tries to.
Back to the future?
Oh boy. In a different time zone. So that's pretty cool. So interesting concept. We'll have to try that when eventually I play Tusk again. In the not-so-near future.
No.
I still got 4 Wind Ranger games to go, my friend. I got the 1. We're at a start. That's what's important. So, Clevo Doda on Twitch, probably Twitter, says, Invoker Quaswex with Radiance and Ghostwalk all the time. So you're just a permanent... You're almost like a Ricky at that point with Radiance. It's very similar in that fashion.
Like they would be able to find you.
You think there's something that gives that away?
Rather easily. If you don't notice the sparkles, I feel like you would notice the
footprints in the ground.
Yeah.
You've got now 2 indicators that you're right there. So it's just to really taunt them.
Probably a bug. Just keep walking.
Let's just keep walking. Who knows what'll happen. So interesting. I hope that's successful. I would like the match idea if you could pull that one off again.
Wow, calling him out.
He said that or full daggone Ricky. So, obviously not much agility on that item.
See, this is giving me...
Already.
Han flashbacks. Because I'm remembering Scout and Fade.
Oh, Scout. Oh, worst hero mage. Hi!
You're dead. You're dead. Peace. Deuces. What's up? Yeah, not a fan of that one. What's your favorite troll strat that you've been able to pull off successfully?
Oh, no.
Put you on the spot.
Did you just say successfully?
Well, not complete failure.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've done a couple in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I'd have to say I did enjoy, from back in the day, and I know this is kind of lame because we just talked about it, but the Blink Omni Knight is pretty legit. Mm-hmm. You blink, you heal, they're slow. They're probably dead.
Probably.
That game we won. So it's probably because of me. Now, granted, people are like, why'd you get a blink? Well, to be honest, I wish I was that next level mentally, but I actually was trying to buy an ultimate orb, and it just so happened I right-clicked the wrong item and said, too late, and I went with it.
Yeah.
And I ran with it, it worked. But I'd have to say my favorite was copying that Draskell strat for your team, getting the Troll Warlord ult with the OD, the Enchantress, and anyone else that has a nice orb effect, and just going ham. Also the Faceless on your team. It's a little greedy of a lineup, a little greedy, but if you can pull it off, tiny...
No, a tiny bit greedy is what I was trying to say. Right, sorry.
I was say, tiny doesn't necessarily go
thing.
that well with it, but Dat beard, yeah. Sorry. Someone's giving you props to the beard. I couldn't help but notice that.
That's really why I'm here, because I needed to show Jay in all of its glory.
It's actually, like, filled in.
It's almost a real one now.
It's getting there. Now you're missing the side trimmings
the
to
whole,
make it.
The front part is missing, I feel like. The sides and the bottom are just...
That side beard is really what this should be called here.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's my favorite. How about you? What's your go-to?
My favorite troll strat of yours, and actually, I was talking to Joe earlier today, and he was saying that somebody, Shane, actually was streaming and went solo mid Chen.
Love it so far.
Yeah.
Keep going.
If you're Radiant, you just duck in, you take the big creep
hate it
right by the Radiant tier 2.
You lost me.
Taking a creep.
Taking a creep, you lost me right there. That's where we separate right there.
You just go the penance, you go the test of faith, boom, headshot.
That's how I played
some Dagon, some
Maelstrom.
No, that's why I said it, because you didn't.
Chrysalis, that was my build.
Chrysalis,
I went Power Treads Chrysalis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did it work? Probably. Because I played in Dota 1, but no one knew what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
Would it work now?
I only saw one game of it, and I seem to remember
I think that means I need to do more games of that.
I think that's probably true.
Mid, too. You gotta go mid.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Clearly.
But I like the idea. So yeah, you get a creep. Obviously, you have a really strong presence mid. It's almost like you're ganking mid, but you're there all the time. Because you know how annoying Chen ganks are mid. But now you're just there.
If you got a whirly bird, if you got the tornado bird, you're just like, he's sitting there and he's doing his dance and he's screwing up middle lane, and then you're just there farming it and just, oh my, can you please do this?
No, I'm not controlling a creep. I've already told you that.
Oh, okay. Share controlled
Do
me.
I even need a point in that?
Creep.
No, I don't.
I mean,
no points in that. We don't need that. Persuasion, not important. That's my opinion. Dagon, though, that's the trick with my troll strat. Do I go Chrysalis or Dagon? I guess it depends on the game.
Do both?
Well, depends how I farm. Maelstrom, possibility.
You should definitely do Maelstrom.
Maelstrom makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Makes sense. It's definitely what that
So
means.
you could say it synergizes with his pushing abilities, but I'm not getting the persuasion, so
Yeah.
it now gives me new pushing abilities.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go Persuasion.
God, it makes too much sense. No, see, I'm really sad to play 4 Wind Ranger games now, because that's exactly what I want to do next.
It's only 4, so, you know.
It sounds like a lot, though, to me. It sounds uphill.
Yeah, I will say that we've already decided, one of the few times where we know in advance what's coming. Next week, we're going to be talking about pub games, just pubbing around, and we definitely want your guys' input. Come tell us what you guys are doing out there. Drop by the Facebook, the Twitter. We're looking at it.
We are.
Yeah, and we Magic Man is doing a great job managing our Facebook and Twitter, or I guess just Facebook. You're actually tweeting.
I'm doing the Twitter for now. Tweeting. You guys have to give me props for that. I'm doing something that I'm not used to. It's uncomfortable, but I'm doing it. So
definitely drop by and tell us what you guys are going to be doing. I am definitely going to be playing Support Zeus. Here is the dream. I want Skywrath, Zeus, and then anybody else, because it doesn't matter.
Do they need to be a magical damage dealer in some capacity?
At that point, they don't. Really. You have a slow, here's the other one, and I was going to be talking about Skywrath a little bit later, but because we see him with a Faceless Void, and you go, oh, that's pretty nice, and you just lay down the Arcane Barrage. What if you do Bane, nice. Skywrath Mage, sleep somebody, you know where your conch shot's going to be landing, you don't have to worry about the travel time. If they try to juggle the sleep, well, somebody else is still slept. And I feel like this is a great aggressive tri-lane, right? So it's still 2v3 if they pass the sleep along.
Is Skywrath getting the farm?
No, that's +1.
Oh, no, are you saying Bane is the third?
Bane is the third. Skywrath, Bane,
Zeus.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're replacing Zeus now.
Yeah, I'm replacing
Zeus. Oh, okay. That's why I was confused. Like, what is this mayhem?
This is craziness.
That is craziness. That could work, though.
I feel it in your brain. It's turning.
Things are turning.
Things are.
Things are. Not the right things, always, but things are turning. Very interesting, indeed.
It's going to happen. The problem is that I'm the only person stupid enough to go support Zeus.
Here's the thing. We have all these great ideas, right?
But we
don't have the time to play the games. We need you guys. Great idea. Brilliant. This is my greatest idea. You guys out there, try some of these strategies we're saying and send us the match IDs. We could, if they're good enough, we could even use it for Dota Theater.
If they're good enough.
AKA, no, I just want to use it for Dota Theater. I don't even care. go out there. It's kind of like a Fun Day Monday kind of thing.
This
We
is.
tell you guys to do it.
Fun Day Tuesday.
Yeah, totally not copying anyone with that idea. No, but that'd be really cool. You guys do the idea for us.
First of all, it's not copying, it's an homage. Second,
Yes, it is.
I really want to do
Are
Skywrath
you
Zeus.
Oh, fine. You can play the one game.
I need you guys, somebody out there do Bane Skywrath, because that's legitimate and has a chance to work. And I want you guys to have that. That's my gift to you.
So kind.
So,
Yes.
yeah, no, so we're, next week's going to be pretty just fun. It's going to be great. But we have this week still. I mean, we have our new question of the week. We're going to be doing this every week, as the name implies, I think.
That's the idea, at least. This next question for you guys is going to involve the compendium. So hopefully you all have it out there. If not, shame on you. Go get it. It's not too late. It's about the model rework. That's what we want to talk about. So we kind of mentioned this before when it became unlocked from the prize pool, but it's now coming down to just 8 heroes. And we were kind of curious who you guys wanted to win of those 8 heroes. So I'm going to list them off here. And of course, you could go check it out yourself in your compendium if you want to refresh your memory. But the 8 heroes right now is down to our Faceless Void, Broodmother, Phantom Assassin, Anti-Mage, Viper, Slardar, Voodoo,
Witch Doctor, maybe?
He does voodoo, though.
Yes.
Witch Doctor. God, you mentioned Han and now my mind's a wreck.
Witch Jester.
That's where it went. Don't even say that name again. We're not going to call the rest of our podcast that. Witch Doctor and Juggernaut. I should have just moused over him so I felt a little better.
Yeah.
But those are the 8. So all I'm going to say is I think the hardest choice,
Yeah.
there's sets of 2. The hardest choice for me is between Viper and Slardar. They both desperately need a rework, in my opinion. And only one can come out on top here.
Viper looks like some sort of weird cat based off of just his picture.
Yes. He is. Well, he is. Kind of.
I don't...
No, he's not actually.
He's not close, but...
He's like a bird more than anything.
That one's tough. See, here's the thing, too, and here's my problem when it got to the voice vote, is that I actually didn't vote for Juggernaut Luna, because, first of all, our buddy Gino Beam does an amazing Luna impression. It's just about spot on.
For salad mayonnaise?
For salad mayonnaise. Whatever.
For salad mayonnaise.
For salad mayonnaise. And I think Juggernaut's is fine, too. Juggernaut winds up winning, and I guess if I had to pick, that's probably the way I'd go. But, yeah,
I don't know, Io. Those beep boops are not good enough.
Well, I just mean between the Juggernaut and the Luna. If I had to pick between those two, I'd pick Juggernaut.
For the voice?
What
Yeah,
if he
no,
wins-
Luna's is too unique. You don't want to change that up.
What if he wins voice and model rework? What if Slardar
Wins both.
wins both?
Does
That
Slardar
I would
have
be
a
okay
voice?
with. Slardar. It's like really,
Okay. I guess I never play that hero, so I
It's
guess
like-
I don't really know.
it's really low and
Why don't you stop Anti-Mage? He's got a very manly, deep voice.
it's almost too manly and deep for Anthony.
Yeah, that's true.
It looks kind
He's kind of a pansy, to be honest. He blinks in and out. He should probably have like a girlier voice, but nothing wrong with girls. I'm just saying. Sorry.
or their voices.
Or not a thing. Taking all that back. But yeah, focus for the question. I got a little off track. Focus on the model rework here. So, which of those 8 would you like to see get the model rework?
Yeah.
Bam.
I think if I had to go off these, here's my other problem too.
You do have to go off these. You don't have a choice. These are the 8.
There are some that I really think suck and could be made better, but then there are some like Broodmother where, okay, it's a spider, cool, fine. But I think you could make something pretty baller looking.
Would that affect her spiderites and spiderwebs?
Probably not.
Oh.
But I'm just thinking, like, you could probably make a pretty sick Broodmother skin if you reworked it, but it makes sense now.
Arcana?
I don't hate it. Yeah, sure, let's do an Arcana for her.
I think she's in the Arcana running. Hold on.
We're going to do science here. Real fast.
Oh, no, she's not.
She's not in it.
She's not in the Arcana running. Not played enough,
Can
as it
someone
turns out.
please tell me why Mirana's in the running for that? She has 8 million sets.
We need more. We need a better version of the sperm arrow. Not good enough.
Why did Invoker beat Tiny? Tiny has one thing. He has one thing, and no one has
It's
it.
not that cool, to be
It's
honest.
just he's shining.
Invoker with Arcana would be cool. You could make the orbs look cool. You could do some cool
I
stuff.
guess Tiny. What if he was like? What if he had like a flaming tree for a weapon with Agnons? That'd be ballin' would be scarier than a giant boulder swinging a flaming tree.
I don't know.
Next level.
Phantom Assassin, apparently, somehow. Alright. Juggernaut's also in the running for that. Apparently Juggernaut's going for the, what's it called? The Triple Crown?
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yes. We will call it the Triple Crown, too, if he does get all three.
That would be completely wasted. Here's a new model, and then here's a augment the model.
Yes, just in case you needed both.
In case you hate it.
Oh,
all right.
Wow, anyways, so that was fun. So there's your question. We'll also be posting it on Facebook and Twitter, of course, to get all of your input throughout the rest of the week. And hopefully we get just as much or more, preferably, responses on this, and take a poll. See who wins out.
Oh, poll. We're going to
poll. And whoever our voters say, we're going to tell Val that's what it should be.
Yeah, and we our word much sway about headquarters. But yeah, I'm really excited about this next topic. The meat and potatoes.
Oh.
It's Enigma to start. And talking about heroes that have sort of come into the scene, have sort of shown themselves again, and then we're going to end up looking at heroes who have just sort of transitioned from where they used to be into this a new recasting of what their role is, where they should be played, and what kind of value they bring to the team. So I think that's going to be really neat to look at. And I know you were really interested in talking about Enigma and what he's doing now.
Enigma, and this is why I kind of wrote it as an honorable mention, because it's not like he's being played really different. Obviously, he's still kind of going in the jungle, getting his levels, his gold, going a lot of the same items. There are some differences, though. I think the main difference, though, in what I've noticed is his pick rate comparatively. I was kind of comparing his stats over 6.8 and 6.81. He's already picked up. He's been playing 122 games in 6.81 with a 60% win rate. I know, it's kind of surprising. You didn't even probably realize that. But he was only played 92 games with a 46% win rate in 6.80. So a lot more success coming out and picked more. The calculation, I did a little napkin math.
Whoa.
I did not do it on a physical napkin, but I did the math. Huh? And by the end of this patch, should it go the same length as 6.8, he'll be picked up in roughly 196 games, or 100% increase in pick rate. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's pretty nice to note. I was trying to figure out, okay, why is he getting picked some more? And why is he so darn successful all of a sudden? I mean, it's not like the hero has changed all too much over the time. Obviously, he gained the size difference in length.
Size difference goes over.
Size difference,
especially with the ladies.
They say it doesn't matter, right? But we all know better.
You see it in the pick rates. You see it in the win rates.
That's what I'm saying. You see it all around. But honestly, so he gained that, and obviously, not completely recently, but his Aghanim's upgrade. Yes. Which we never saw, of course. Being able to drop down his Midnight Pulse through his ultimate. They can see you laughing at me, by the way, so don't you dare mock me. Dropping that now bigger Midnight Pulse over top the area. I was trying to piece together, okay, why is he getting picked up more? Well, what else has kind of happened in this patch? Tidehunter, obviously, dramatically picked up more. So I'm kind of calling this now maybe we're more focused on team fights again. That kind of is starting to become a central thing. Either team fight or Rat Dota seems to be a lot of the real big common themes these days. I mean, obviously not every team's going to follow that logic, but you are seeing both Tide and Enigma getting picked up dramatically more these days. And I wrote this stat because I saw it in one of the games I was watching. Only 4.2 black holes casted per game. That's not much for an ultimate, right?
Yeah, I mean that's I think always been part of the sale of Enigma, right?
Yeah.
It's just the threat is enough.
Exactly.
Just knowing that it's available. And I feel like in some situations it's almost better to not cast it. Just because if you are trying to do something about a strategic point on the map, you can say, come on, let's go. We're ready. We can sum up the black hole. Hopefully you guys position yourselves well. If not, you're going to pay for it. Whereas, some of those early black holes you'll see on the one hero or whatever, and they go down.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. But if you're doing that later part of the game, then you don't have that threat available, and I feel like it's a big part of them. But yeah, Midnight Pulse size increasing, I think is great. I mean, I hate to see. We're going to talk about Leshrac later. You know, some of these heroes that just felt like they had 3 spells or 2 spells, and now that he has Midnight Pulse, as a real viable spell to cast, it's actually going to have an impact on, like you said, sort of the Loda synopsis of the current metagame about tanky team fighting heroes. Midnight Pulse is a great answer to that. And especially when Aghanims is now an option for him.
Yeah.
When we saw the change to Lincoln Sphere, while we haven't seen the competitive scene, I was like, oh man, wouldn't mind seeing that on Enigma, because it's just, he can farm easily. If he is able to get like a Blink BKB up, that can be an option for him. He now also has the Midnight Pulse, if he wants to farm with it, to be honest. It's not a super long cooldown if he's able to get some stacks up. So, you know, I think this hero has a lot of potential, and it's almost, I think, in the same realm of, with the increase in sightings of Faceless Void, too.
That's what I was going to pick up, too. He's come up with the Aghanims. Aghanims is sometimes even prioritized over Mask of Madness, which is just insane, because Mask of Madness is so good on that hero. But Aghanims proving to be that much better in some situations, lowering that cooldown dramatically. Was it 70 or 75? It's something ridiculously short. For that kind of ultimate, it's ridiculous. And he doesn't even need to pump out the damage. That's the beautiful thing. He, like I said, he even goes as first sometimes, meaning he's not auto-attacking for crazy damage. He's really just keeping them in one place for the rest of your team to get in position to do what they need to do. And I think that's really cool. But this is also bringing about Rubik. Have you not noticed? He is in so many games again.
Yeah.
The Tide, Enigma, Faceless, these big teamfight heroes. It's give me flashbacks to TI too, except Rubik's not playing mid right now. That's kind of the only difference. He's still getting picked though in the support role, and you've seen, God, how many amazing steals have we seen in some of these games? It's just so exciting to see that black hole take it over and just drop it. I think there was a thing I'd like to link on Facebook later. Owie2000 stole a black hole. Well, he stole Ravage first. He was against both Enigma and Tidehunter. Stole a Ravage. Only hit maybe 2 heroes with it. It wasn't that impressive. But then he eventually got the black hole and got a 5-man black hole and turned the team fight around completely. It was just, those kind of moments are like the goosebump chill moments you get.
That'll do, Pig. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was actually, I feel like with these heroes coming back too, there's like still some teams that have to get acclimated to it. I was looking at your notes because I think it might have actually been the same game, Dreamtime versus Newbie from GST, where there was a Luna that got Blink Dagger, actually ended up getting an Aghanim Scepter as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where Rubik, Tidehunter dies after ravaging. Rubik's alive. They walk down middle. Oh, Tide's in the base. I'm just gonna see what he has. Spell Seal. Oh, he hasn't cast anything since Ravage. And there were so many Ravage steals that game. It was like Anchor Smash. You can do it. Just that's all you gotta do. Hit E. You'll be fine.
Don't steal too much right about what the next segment. We're gonna do that after.
Oh.
But that's okay. It was worth mentioning because it was related.
Yes.
But I do think, yeah, like Rubik has just made, and Rubik is getting Aghanims because these other heroes are getting Aghanims, you know. So it's actually really worth him picking up in these cases. But I think it's interesting how often Enigma seems to be getting Aghanims. I mean, it's obviously not, I'd say, first even 3 items worthy. Sometimes the 3rd, but usually it's 4th or later because Blink, huge priority on him. Black King Bard, generally huge priority on him. I've even seen Refresher Orb.
Oh, yeah.
Which is amazing. It obviously adds to his threat level because now it's not every couple minutes. It's whenever he needs that second one, he can do it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I love seeing him return. And not only for the fact that he's good at pushing, good at team fight. He obviously is a strong hero. But it's the excitement as a spectator. Those are the moments. Toby screaming out Black Hole. Those are the moments you look for as a spectator. And so it's exciting for us viewers, too, that this hero is making a comeback.
Yeah, and, you know, I've even seen, you know, Enigma being one of the fastest, if not the fastest jungler in the game, even going hand to Midas. I don't hate it. I think it's
faster than Sven?
I mean, that's...
Ask Joe. I mean, maybe he...
I mean, yeah, we're going to have to confirm, deny the speed versus jungle Sven. But just to say that there are so many of these expensive, seemingly game-changing items for Enigma that you go, well, Midas, because I'm still going to be able to get a blink at a decent time. You know, we don't see as much mech Enigma.
Not as much.
No. But you're going to be able to get your BKB. You're going to be able to get that Axe. You're going to be able to get these luxury items that really do. And like you're saying, again, with the Midnight Pulse doing that percentage damage against all these tanky team fight heroes, if
Yeah.
you're able to get the Refresher and the Ags, you're just being able to pump out so much damage that you can really sort of deal with the theme of the meta. And that's obviously going to be a strong hero if they can deal with the main idea of what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. So there's our honorable mention.
I have one, Bounty Hunter, and this is sort of starting to play on the stats and the role changing that I was interested in talking about, because Bounty Hunter, I feel like I've seen him played more as a support than I ever have in the entirety of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up as more than just the offlaner. Offlane is almost like, why would you even put him there?
Are we going to mention that game where it did not go so well for DK?
Well, that's the thing, you know, if it's just like that game, you go, oh, well, they tried something new, it's not working, but... you know, he still is not enjoying that great of a win rate, and it's actually gone down in 8-1. It was 46% in 8-0. It's 42 in 8-1.
Oh, no.
But what I thought was really interesting is if you look at his pick rate and the role that he was put into, 42 times played solo, makes sense, but then 11 times in 8-0 played with company as either a dual lane or a tri-lane situation. And now we see in 8-1, it's 23 solo picks and still 11 dual or tri or roaming games, which is really interesting. You know, you think about putting Bounty Hunter into that off lane, he can be invisible, soak experience, get the track up. Now we're seeing him as more of, yeah, we'll still get track, but what can we do with the damage and the slow from Janata, being able to lurk around, look for opportunities, scout for us. It's kind of an interesting, I guess, take on the hero. You know, we think about Nyx Assassin being a hero that's able to do that after 6 or whatever. He's able to invade the enemy jungle, apply some pressure that way.
Right.
Bounty Hunter being one of the few heroes that can really just straight up do it from level 1, level 2.
That's true. He's got that really early presence. I mean, granted, obviously these teams always have the sentries ready to go for the lane if he chooses to try to stay in it, which a lot of times he won't because obviously he's not going to get too much accomplished. He obviously prefers level 2. That's where he's really going to help out. Like, he could roam mid at level 2. If he does it at level 1, he's not really contributing anything, right? He doesn't have a slow. He doesn't have a little burst damage. It's just that little auto attack out of invis. But, of course, you know, if he does get level 2, he could get the Janata, like you said. Maybe get that nice slow to cripple the mid and get a gank. He can go anywhere he wants. Obviously, if there's a jungle hero on the other team, he can harass the hell out of them, you know, when they're least expecting it, or steal a creep, you know. So he does obviously have his benefits for being in that offlane. And obviously, mid to late game, he's not that damage dealer, but he is the track. That's what you want him for. You want the gold swing to happen, and then hopefully the rest of your team uses that gold really well to push into the base, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, the game that you're mentioning where it was Bounty Hunter trying to invade Dire side to put some pressure on an Enigma, the other team was ready for it, you know, played very cautiously, didn't let himself get too low, wasn't putting himself in danger of getting killed with the Soul Ring or anything.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting, I think, just about those heroes next to each other is you have Bounty Hunter who in the lane would, right, be invis and would try to sneak real close, and then but hopefully wouldn't get harassed out or wouldn't get picked off or something. In the jungle, no one's going to be dusting him. Enigma's not going to buy dust to try to stop Bounty Hunter from harassing him.
No.
So Bounty Hunter can sit there in the trees, soak up experience from the fastest jungler in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Works pretty well. Or if you do notice that his health's getting low, you can go ahead and harass him with the Janata damage. You're sitting there leeching EXP, you're going to get your levels. That's fine. And if you're able to get somebody like a Nature's Prophet in the offlane, we saw what Bulldog was able to do in the finals with just a little bit of vision.
Oh, yeah.
On the Dire side, seeing the enemy hero doing the camp. TP'd in, was almost able to do
got
that.
it.
So close.
That miss uphill.
So close.
That was close. But, Quasex Sword Invoker mid. You know, here's the vision on a hero by himself. Easy Sunstrike, he's just auto-attacking. And then Bounty Hunter finishes him off with an attack. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of possibilities there, so that is pretty cool. Now, like you said, not the highest win rate still, so maybe they're not utilizing him fully to his greatest extent. But, I don't know, what kind of strategies are you hoping to use him in? Like, why would you want to pick him up in the drafts as opposed to other offlaners in this meta?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if I would want him as an offlaner in this meta because I don't know that track's doing enough. I don't know that it matters. I don't know if you can guarantee the track kills, and I feel like that's too big of a gamble. Like, you're thinking about, you know, let's just go with Tidehunter, since he's the, you know, flavor of the moment.
Yeah.
why would you risk deaths in an offlane because of a Sentry Ward or Dust when you have a hero that's just so durable it doesn't matter for the most part? Why would you put a hero there that is going to get something that might wind up helping you in the late game when you can definitely always use Ravage and you're going to get level 6? It's not you're not going to be shut out of that.
Exactly.
And because if you're level 6 and everybody else is level 12, Ravage is still awesome. If you're a level 6 bounty hunter, yeah, the track's cool, but you're just still not getting the impact.
But if your team doesn't get a kill, it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why I think I like this idea. Yeah, it's super situational, and you might only be able to do it if there's, like an Enchantress, if there's an Enigma, somebody that's going to be jungling fast, that might be moving around a lot, so you can keep tabs on them. Like you're saying, especially if you're Radiant side, too, and you're harassing the Dire jungle, you can just walk right down the steps into the middle lane, shank somebody, see if you can get a kill on them. And I think that is a really... it just shows you... a bright spot in the minds of some of these captains, these drafters, because I think to realize the potential of a hero like that when you're used to seeing him as an offlaner is quite a bit. I mean, that's not a jump you make, and I think that the first time that maybe any of us have seen this roaming or dual tri-lane bounty hunter, you're like, weird, I don't like, but it really makes a lot of sense once you put it down on paper.
It's kind of like, once again, I like having these flashbacks to the international, but seeing Puppy pick up Nick's assassin in that final game, and everyone's like, "You're crazy!" And then seeing him in a tri-lane, like, support's like, "What is happening?" Throwing the game. And now, I mean, not all the time. Of course, he's picked up offlane a lot now, but he was used support all the time after that. And it's like, it only takes some trying out and experimenting. It doesn't have to work the first time, but just seeing that it can, obviously.
All it needs to do is work the second time once the actual patch hits. That's all it takes. The change to occur, and then...
But it's experimentation. Yeah. Obviously, it's captains. And of course, the international, maybe not the platform you experiment with too much, especially in the grand final per se. But, granted, in these other tournaments, this is the time to let those strategies unleash them. And especially sometimes, I know I see these strategies come out when they're like a game up or something. Like, okay, let's go for it and see if this pocket strat works. And if it doesn't, well, we still got another couple games to go. And we'll go back to our safe and sound strategy. Yeah. So.
And, if we were doing this episode a month ago, Wraith King would be on here because we would be... documenting the change from carry, sometimes really rare situations, to a support, to the point where his support abilities get nerfed, his carry potential gets buffed, and now he moves back into a carry role. So really sort of riding the fence as far as what kind of role he plays, where he's most successful, and then, changes have obviously played a big part, but I think just another hero that sort of highlights this. I know another hero you want to talk about, you mentioned earlier, the Leshrac.
Oh, Leshy. Yes, he's come back in, and he's actually, let's see, what did I get down for him? So he's been played 73 games in 6.81, 90 games in 6.8. So it's not nearly as big increase as Enigma was. Win rate's right about the same as before, so that's not really where the changes come in. The changes come in purely in the skill build. He's mainly getting used as support, but we have seen some other roles necessarily too. But like I was saying, the main change, Lightning Storm, the priority on this hero. You see them heavily investing points, if not maxing it first, almost every time. I've seen Kurokai, Chuan, just name a couple, that really dropped this out. Of course, level 1, Split Earth, who wouldn't get that level 1? It's pretty much over Diabolic Edict a lot of times, and it's because of that slow that it was added to, obviously, in a recent patch. That's going to help give you that jump. 75% slow. Now, I know it's not for a very long time, but it's just enough a lot of times to help you get that next thing to chain onto it. I got a slow, now I can maybe set up my Split Earth, or now my ally has enough time to cast his stun. Who knows what it is, but it's great for not only that slow, but also the reduced cooldown. It's really short now, so it's almost spammable. Now, I know supports aren't running on the biggest mana pools all the time, but he seems to have a really high mana pool for a support hero. And it doesn't cost a whole ton. That spell's mana cost only 120 at its last rank. That's really not that high compared to Bane or other heroes who have really expensive spells. So, on a 4-second cooldown, that's not too bad. And I just think it's really interesting to see, how it's transitioned to, instead of this normal Split Earth Diabolic Edict build, now Lightning Storm all of a sudden is becoming a way more popular thing to choose.
Yeah, and I really like it, to be honest. I like this change a lot when it first hit, messing around with it a little bit. It seemed like a lot of fun. I expected to see more of them than we have been seeing. But it's definitely a nice change. I definitely enjoy that it helps you set up that Split Earth a little bit. It does help chase. It gives you still push in its own right because putting points into it increases the number of jumps. So you're still going to be hitting more creeps with it. You're going to have the potential to chain off on heroes. And I don't know that the games that I've seen him in, he's been super successful. Did you have a win rate for him?
53%.
53? So actually, not bad
bad
at all.
Yeah, above 50 is good for anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, there are heroes that get chain picked that have like a 40-something% win rate.
Right.
So really nice to see. And, we've seen him in the past as more of a core. We've seen him in the support role. And continuing that, and now just in a different light, which I think it's really...
But he's so adaptable. Like, obviously, this kind of Lightning Storm build is more for the roaming Leshrac, the setting up the kills for your team. If you need him, though, to stay in the lane or something, Diabolic Edict is still amazing. It hasn't really changed at all since that one time where it got its cast time out of it, But beyond that, it still does a whole crap ton of damage. So if you need him to push with your team, put points in Diabolic Edict instead. You can still come back, get at least 1 point in that storm for the slow, and it's doing its job at that point. So, yeah, I think it's just awesome. He's so adaptable. And then late game, he is so good. He almost needs to be focused down, because if he gets that Edict off, the Pulse Nova's going, and the Split Earths, he is a major contributor to team fights, even late in the game, despite BKB or not.
Yeah, and we have, a while ago now, where you have the change to how much gold people are getting globally, makes these supports that benefit from farm more viable, and they're just able to actually build items even if they don't have amazing starts. And Leshrac is mentioned playing as a core in the past. He's able to get up Arcane Boots into a Bloodstone. He's going to have the mana to work with to be able to pump out all of his abilities on the short cooldown the Lightning Storm has, be able to lay out the Pulse Nova. So I think it's really nice to see him in this light, and he's a hero that I expect to see more of coming into the future as well.
Yeah, I could totally, like I said, I can see him, and Enigma too. I can see both these heroes played for just so many good reasons. Obviously Enigma brings pretty much one really important thing to team fights, but Leshrac's more adaptable, and that's why I like him, because he can be that roaming ganking potential, or he can help you push if you need to. He could even play a core. Like you said, he could be middle Leshrac with that Lightning Storm. God, that harass is brutal.
You're crazy.
Hey, that happened back in the day. Let's bring it back, right? TI4, it's going to be mid Rubik and Leshrac all day, every day, okay? Probably. Then he'll do it.
Yeah.
Someone will. But, yeah, so that's kind of all I want to touch on for that one. You had, what was your next one?
Axe. It's... I don't even know where to start, because I think his numbers are just hysterical, to be honest with you. When you look in 7-9, 7 picks. Okay. Alright. 7. And then in 8-0, you wind up seeing 107 Vanzer picks. Okay. He's doing a little bit better. And then currently in 8-1, 230 picks and or bans. I hear that it's definitely seen a lot of changes to his kit, but has also come to find some success, some popularity. And the thing that I actually found really interesting in just looking through some of his numbers was the role in which he's picked, too. You have him played in 8-0 18 times in the hard tri-lane. And then you have him played, his second most popular role was solo mid with 17. So then when you go to look at 8-1, tri-lane, hard lane, still the most popular, 36. But then the solo safe lane is actually where you see him next highest with 16 plays. And the other thing, too, that I thought was really interesting is in 8-0, you pretty much saw him being one of the last 2 picks. That's where you saw the majority of his presence in the draft. But now when you look at 8-1. It's the 15th, 16th slot in the draft. You look at the way that the graphs go looking by position, you basically go from here's 7-9 where, oh god, find the camera. 7-9 where you have just him being picked like last to do something crazy. Then in 8-0 you have a couple spikes towards the end, but and then 8-1 he's pretty much all over the place. He has a couple of he does the wave.
He does the fish wave.
He does the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Wow, that was it.
Yes.
Damn. Yeah.
And he's basically he's gone from being only last picked or last band to being first band material.
Higher priority. Yeah.
And that's crazy. Again, lots of changes. And we were talking about with like the culling blade, even having the damage reduced on that to sort of help balance him out and change his kit. I mean, what do you think about seeing him all of a sudden?
He got an immortal.
Oh, and the immortal.
That was it. That's I mean, sure, it happened after most of these games had been played, but I don't know. Berserker's Cult's pretty sweet now, so I'm just saying. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty impressive, to be honest. I mean, clearly, he's always been a really strong hero. He's so good at creep cutting to let you push towers with ease. Very durable, of course. Berserker's Call is a huge pain in the ass, although I don't think that's really as popular a build anymore. Are you up to date on his skill builds? Because I feel like a lot of times he'll go for the culling blade and counter helix and get the damage to kind of AoE because he likes the team fight. He goes to that blink so early, now that blink doesn't cost mana. Well, it hasn't for a while, but since it doesn't, he obviously benefits dramatically from getting that blink. Sub 10-minute blink, he can be involved in fights as soon as level 6, level 7. And he's dropping kills left and right. He's slam dunking like crazy.
Yeah.
So, I think that Battle Hunger's kind of falling off because of that. But still, he's got the potential for it. And I think it's really interesting. He's kind of not... You can't replace Centaur with him. Because it's not like him and Centaur are the same hero by any means. But they both are strong initiators. Centaur, I believe, is kind of starting to fall off the trail a little bit. We're seeing this Axe rise. And, because I feel like they're kind of supplementary. You kind of almost sub in one for the other. Axe obviously does really well in a tri-lane, though, because of his really quick burst damage output that he can pull off. And then, of course, that ultimate. You get them through that threshold, I mean, they're done. And that's really nice to have in itself. So, Bulba was on to something, I guess, is what we could say. When all those
the haters
months ago... all the haters out there, right? But at the end of the day, they were rude about it. But I don't know. I like seeing him in there. What do you think about him compared to Centaur, though? Do you have a preference? I mean, obviously they're different, but what would you say?
I mean, I think what I find really interesting about the comparison is just where they wind up getting played the most. Because, like I said, I feel like you think about Axolot and you go like, yeah, blah 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 off lane, but you also get to see him in this tri-lane, and you get to see a tri-lane carry that's able to really put on a ton of pressure early on. I think people in, like, when you're pubbing and stuff, you go like, oh man, they're diving my tower, why aren't you guys TPing in? Because if we did, even if we killed them, he would just do it again, and we can't TP every time. You can't make it happen.
Boy who cried wolf.
Yes. They're just... You have to... When you're playing against certain heroes, you just have to say, this is what's going to happen. We have to deal with it as best we can, and hope that we're making it up somewhere else on the map.
Yeah.
You have to look to your draft, or just the rest of your picks if you're pubbing around. But, to a certain extent, there's just really not much you can do about it. And you just have to make the most out of a bad situation. Centaur can just be in that offlane and can be your awesome initiation. Both heroes will wind up going like Blink into Blade Mail and can make a lot happen with that. But actually... I think it's nice that they give you very similar things, but because of their laning differences, they make the game feel a lot different. I feel like Axe, it's right, taking it right to you. You have to. He's going to be behind your tower. He's going to be up there in your face in the lane. Where Centaur, it's like, okay, I'm going to get my stuff. I might be able to pick somebody off in the lane if I, playing pretty ballsy.
Centaur feels like the one-trick pony. He blinks in, he stops, he double edges. That's kind of all he does. Now, granted, of course, he's got the ultimate. He's going to help out dramatically. But, Axe is one of those heroes...
I mean, he's going to make your Tusk so good.
Oh my god. So will he ever? It's a little OP. Probably. But yeah, I think, whereas Axe, Axe obviously you could say, oh, he's kind of a one-trick pony too. But the fact is, his ultimate can get refreshed. And I think that's where he differentiates, because if let's say, Centaur gets a kill, okay, but that's it. He's done. Axe gets a kill, oh, not only do we get a huge buff to all my teammates around me, but I can go dunk again. And I can just continue this warpath of a team fight. And I think also he obviously has the taunt mechanism, which with Blade Mail is really nice. Centaur, he doesn't have a way to force them to attack him. He obviously can be in the middle of them and say, hey, let's go. Mm-hmm. But, Axe obviously literally taunts them and says, you're going to attack me. I can pop my Blade Mail and put out this even more, or Mjolnir procs, whatever build you're going these days. Probably not that after the nerf. But, literally like against Axe, more or less. But, yeah, I don't know. And then also, actually, Eisenberg in the chat brings up an interesting point. I didn't even really think about this too much. As Axe pick rate's gone up, Dazzle's pick rate has gone down. Now, obviously, they're not complete counter, or he's not complete counter to him, but the Shallow Grave obviously does not do you any good against Axalt. Do you that sounded like Axalt when I said it, but it's Axalt.
Axalt.
It's going to be a new brand. But, is that kind of an interesting point there?
It is. I kind of would want to look at that a little bit closer. Yeah. It is sort of one of the few ways to deal with the Shallow Grave,
right.
And that's definitely, I think, a valid point. And yeah, honestly, it probably does have something to do with him falling off. And also, yeah, you can maybe drop the heal to damage Axe when he's taunting a whole bunch of stuff, but at the same time, he gets all that armor against the physical damage. He really is, I think, a great way to just stand in the face of Dazzle and give no Fs about any of his abilities, really. And,
yeah, physical damage, I have 1,000,000 armor. What are you going to do? Well, when I taunt.
Yeah. But I think one of the things you mentioned, too, though, I think isn't really valued enough is team compositions that have the ability to maintain a chase. That can keep a fight going, that don't just get the one or the two and then 3 people get away. Your Viper lineups. With the Battle Hunger, you're able to keep your speed up. You're able to blink forward. You're able to taunt. You're able to keep on top of people. And I definitely think that is a huge advantage of the hero. Centaur, you're going to get in. Great. Axe, if you get the snowball rolling, you're going to keep it going. Yep, and you're going to be able to pick up more and more and more. He's going to be strapped for mana. He's not going to be battle hungering all day. But, being able to get the chops going is going to give your team enough speed so you don't have to be the one.
And also, Centaur got nerfed with the hoof stomp mana cost nerf. And that might be another reason that people are getting deterred, I guess, from picking him is it's a little too expensive to play him these days. Obviously, it's not horrible, but it is noticeable for sure, So, I don't know. This could be a bunch of factors, but, that was an interesting point, though. I haven't really thought about that too much until just now. I would like to look up some stats on Dazzle now because I'm curious. Because God, he was everywhere. He was the support, and now he is not the support. I would actually be really curious if he's even been picked like a third of what he was picked in the last patch. Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But this whole discussion, I feel like, is summed up with one hero. And, I wanted to mention earlier on, but there have just been a ton of competitions going on lately. The LAN competitions have been sort of, I think, the main talk of the town, up in people's faces. ESL Frankfurt is this weekend. Holy crap.
My God.
Break up with your girlfriends. Just stop feeding your cats.
Oh,
you need to watch these games for 2 days straight. Don't go outside. The sun burns. Okay? It sunburns. But you have the LAN tournaments, but you also have the D2L, which just finished up today, I do believe. Mm-hmm. The Gigabyte Challenge, which just finished up. CDEC as well. And one of the really interesting stats from the Gigabyte tournament was that Faceless Void was in every single game of the finals. It's not just that he was in every single game of the finals. It's that he was, in a lot of the cases, picked up as the 2-hero rebuttal to the other team having first pick. He would be part of that double pickup to follow. And, he, I think, sums up this conversation perfectly because he went from being, super carry, like you were mentioning earlier, about the Battle Fury, the Maelstrom, being focused on doing the damage, to really being about sustainability, survivability, utility, mm-hmm. and based around the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah.
And what that gives you. And so, I mean, here you have it, folks. If you need the numbers,
we do.
I'm happy to give
when
them.
we have them, I was going to say we have to give them.
Every number we have, you guys are welcome to. Faceless Void in 8-0 picks up Aghanim Scepter 25% of the games played. In 8-1, it's 62.5.
Oh, wow.
Mask of Madness actually stays pretty close, to be honest. In 8-0, it was 48% of the time, now 59%. But here's some fun. So in 8-0, Battle Fury picked up 48% of the time, now picked up 11%.
Wow.
And Maelstrom goes from 18.8% in 8-0 up to 36.3. So what's not to love?
That's your shift right there. I mean, just in the item percentages alone. That shows purely what we were just describing. Battle Fury, not a focus anymore.
And here, on top of that, too, if you just want to look at the win rate and the number of games...
I will.
69 giggity games played in 8-0, where he has a 46% win rate, to now 90 games played so far in 8-1 with a 52% win rate.
Oh.
So this transition from being the hard carry, just about pumping out the deeps, is really showing itself to be an inferior build in this new meta. And using items like the Aghanim Scepter to keep yourself durable, to allow yourself to fight often, and items like Maelstrom that are going to let you focus on not just farming and getting more creep kills, but doing more damage in the team fights, is really paying off for the teams that are looking to pick up the Faceless Void. And I mean, maybe you start to look and say like, wow, is this the new flavor of the month? Is this a hero we're going to be seeing in every draft? At ESL Frankfurt, is he going to be like a huge hero in the future as we come up on these big LAN tournaments?
It's just like, how do you stop Faceless Void? It's really difficult. You have to get really strong gankers on your team. Like Axe, for example, is a great initiator against him, for one. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's slippery. Obviously, he can get away with his time
his time stuff.
Time walked. I want to call it time leap.
Time shuffle.
Time do the shuffle.
Time
but
jog.
We should stop moving around so much. But he's kind of hard to get out. If you don't get him off right away, like I said.
Okay. All right.
That came off way wrong.
If you don't get him off right away, he might not call you back.
He will definitely not call you back. That's for sure. Within the first 5 seconds. That's all I gotta say.
That you got some.
God, I was going somewhere with that point.
Not anymore.
The whole point is, though, in the past, he really wasn't getting picked up a lot, like you're saying. And I think he was used a lot to counter picks like Anti-Mage or other heroes where he had to go toe-to-toe. He would go his damage build, and he would go late game and try to one-on-one in that Faceless ult. And that was kind of his main idea. Now, obviously, completely different. Like we were saying, Aghanim Scepter. I'm ready to fight with my team by, 10, maybe even earlier. I mean, the ultimate can do some work, and when you pick up other heroes, let's say Jakiro. Let's just say that one for fun.
Can we say Skywrath Mage, please?
No, we can't say Skywrath Mage, but we can say Jakiro. And, you involve these other heroes that have really awesome AoEs, that obviously positioning matters a lot. Well, hey.
Leshrac
could be another interesting choice, but that's the whole point. Midnight Pulse. Let's throw that down over a Chronosphere.
Bubble Strat.
It works pretty damn well, I have to say. But that's the whole thing. Is like, he's always been a good hero, but he's never been picked primarily as utility. He's been at that, I'm going to go late game head-to-head with your late game carry, and I'll probably win just because I have my 6-second advantage over you where I just get pure beatdown damage.
Yeah, I mean, ages ago, years ago, he was one of the big three. That's what we called him, right? Him, Spectre, and Anti-Mage. They're the big three. And his advantage against the other two was, like you're saying, it's not only the Chronosphere, but it's the potential to time lock. The ability to hold down the enemy carry, to give your team more time to blow them up, and to stop them from being able to get away, to blank out in Anti-Mage's case, or what have you. So, I think this is like really interesting and really exciting that you just see a complete recasting of his hero type and what he's good for. Awesome. I'm digging it.
As far as attack speed, though, because you said the Maelstrom went up while the Battery went down, Makes perfect sense. He got the buff that now his Time Lock does double damage in Chronosphere. And obviously, as the Chronosphere is his now focus, makes sense. He's going to shift away from pure damage and go for more of these attack speed friendly items. So Maelstrom, kind of minus not really, but he could because obviously that benefits him as well. So just wanted to throw that note there. The double damage in the Chronosphere is a way that he does kind of gain some of that lost damage back.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I feel like this is a thing too where Maelstrom's going to help you with the attack speed, with the damage. Chain Lightning, so they don't have to be like right on top of each other. Where Battle Fury feels a lot like punishing people for being bad. If you're stacked up, he's going to chrono you, and then not only that, he's going to just be cleaving you all to death. So you suck, I win, next game. Game 2 of the finals of the International, let's say. Where all these mistakes are normally made. I think it's just really neat that you get to see that item because it still does allow you to farm, allows you the extra burst damage, like you're saying in the Chrono Steel. But the other thing I think too is just the fact that because it's on such a short cooldown, watching some of the games in the Gigabyte Finals, there were some Chronospheres that were placed sort of on the tier 3 tower but a little bit further back to pretty much zone. You would catch some people, but then you just got free shots on the tower. Mm-hmm. And because it's on a short cooldown, if you're not in a bad spot or your draft is strong enough that you don't need that in order to team fight, you can then just back off if you need to. You can use that to try to get in the base. If it doesn't work out, whatever, we'll go back, we'll farm their jungle, starve them out, go right back into it, and it's not a big deal.
60-second cooldown. With the Ogs.
That's a number.
That's absurd. It's so good. And like you said, starve them out, I like that. So you're kind of like you're whittling them down, whittling them to a pulp. They've got nothing left.
To the pulp.
To the pulp, literally. Getting him off. Okay, I'm not gonna say that again. But
you should never say that ever again.
In my life, most likely. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's interesting that the win rate and the item choices. I mean, this is so funny. That's like a night and day comparison from before. So I'm loving it. And Moran, unfortunately, still picked up.
Well, can I just say that? So here's my Skywrath Mage point as I lean closer to the microphone. Hopefully, I'll blow everybody out of the water. Hello. This probably doesn't look awkward at all. But I'm just like,
as long as your head doesn't come down here, that's where he starts looking real awkward.
I'm gonna stay full in the frame, fully in the frame. I really am expecting. I expect it for Skywrath Mage to blow up. Not because I love the hero, but because I feel like, some different people have definitely mentioned that he is a hero that is sort of going to be up and coming. No Tail mentioning that he's one of those at this point in time. Mm-hmm. And just sort of on the back of the prevalence of the Faceless Void, I mean, I feel like Skywrath Mage is a hero that benefits so much from being coupled up with somebody else. And he's a support hero that needs no items to completely obliterate another support hero if they get held in place for him. And when you have the Chronosphere there, boom. What are they going to do? You have the silence, the amplification of the damage. I was actually watching a cast yesterday. I think it was actually part of the VODs for the Gigabyte thing. And LD and Cinderin were casting. And Cinderin goes, it's something that people don't really appreciate is that now the level 3 Ancient Seal the level 1 Ancient Seal has the same magic damage amplification as rank 3 had previously. And so I feel like you watch these games of the Skywrath Mage and you don't really see him do a whole lot, but I feel like in a patch where you actually see quite a large number of hero couplings, the Marana with the Shadow Demon or with the Bane to help set something up, I'm really curious to see what teams wind up using to couple together with the Skywrath Mage to make an effective combo. I really expect that to be a thing. And when I call it correctly, how many millions are you going to pay me?
Millions in yen?
That's probably a lot.
That's probably like $100.
I'll take it.
But none, to answer your question. I don't know. I've also seen some questionable skill builds, I feel like, of recent Skywraths. I've seen like Arcane Bolt maxing.
I don't get it.
You get it for a mid Skywrath.
I don't get it.
You do for a mid Skywrath. You don't get it for a mid Skywrath?
I just...
Made for the harass, purely for the harass. Because obviously you've got the low cooldown and you have the bottles to sustain it. It'd be good for any lane if you have the mana to sustain it. Because you get the lower cooldown, the damage increase is negligible at these, especially at these earlier levels. Probably throughout the whole game as a support, especially. But the lower cooldown, okay, I can get it for the harass aspect of it. Concussive shot.
Concussive shot, you get 60 damage a level.
Mm-hmm.
You get a much shorter cooldown. It is still quite long, and you could argue that you're still only going to get to use it once, and it's an ability that you don't get to aim. I understand.
Also true.
I find it weird, though, that people are snot, putting more than 1 point into it. I mean, I feel like it does scale well. It does give you the ability to follow up more. And, the Arcane Bolt, it's really what you're getting is the cooldown reduction, so you can cast more. And I totally get, get 1 point into it, maybe even level it up equally with Concussive Shot. I don't like... I love prioritizing Arcane Seal. I don't like following that up.
The Ancient Seal. Yeah, I think the silence duration just should not be underestimated. Adding another 3 seconds on that can be huge. 6 second silence is devastating, especially for some heroes. You throw that on someone who's got a game-changing ultimate, put it on Tidehunter as he blinks in, or if you count the reaction time, or beforehand.
Next level.
6 seconds, and just don't attack him. Just let him walk around with this silence on. He's not going to do nearly as much as he would before. Of course, other heroes have silences like, Witch Doctor. Jesus Christ.
Voodoo Jester.
I give up. Death Prophet.
Drow.
Dro. Although hers is a little different these days.
Tiny bit.
But yeah, either way. But the point is, 11 second cooldown, 700 range isn't too bad. And actually, someone pointed in the chat something about you see all these Tinkers. Skywrath could be pretty damn good against Tinker, right? Tinker is not a tanky hero. Not until late game, obviously. He's got all those levels in the world, and he's just so much stats you can't deal with him. But early on, especially, he's very vulnerable to a gank. He doesn't have mobility, and he goes for Brute to Travel first. So it's not like he gets his Blink Dagger right away. So he's very easy to kill. And a Concussive Shot, like you've always said in the past, a great way to get that jump on someone because it's from so far away. By the time they see it speed towards them, you're probably going to have another couple of heroes on his tail, and he's going to go down. And the silence is going to allow you to, prevent him from trying to get off any of his spells, his rearm if he needs to, whatever he needs to do. So, yeah, I totally understand that kind of comment.
Yeah, and, that's why I even like the combo. Bane Skywrath, I'm coining it now. Again, you guys can have that. That's my gift to you. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa.
We're not close to those.
4th of July.
4th of July sounds
It's
good.
right around the corner.
There it is.
Cinco de Mayo's over. 7th of June. 8th of August. I don't know. Anyway, you lock somebody down with the Fiend's Grip, and you go, "What's up, Arcane Barrage? Good luck. You're dead. You're dead. You're done. Sit down. Have a seat." If you just have somebody hold them there for you, you're set. Sven, what if you were able to Ancient Seal while Stormhammer's in the air? They take a bajillion damage from that. They're staying still. You know who's going to be catching the conch shot.
Mystic Flare done. Yeah.
Mystic Flare. I keep saying Arcane
Barrage.
I believe
that's a
in my
WoW
heart of
skill.
hearts that's what it's called.
Well, that's what's important.
And
not to the viewers and then what it actually called. We should lead them astray at every chance we get. It's great to have power.
Let's bring in some more Han terms.
Voodoo Doctor. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, Mystic Flare, though. I mean, it is interesting. It's kind of like... It's Lion-esque in a way. Because you've got that ultimate burst. You're obviously hoping to only hit one hero with. Granted, because it's going to... it up, it's not going to be very impressive. Mm-hmm. You're probably only going to get one of them off in a fight. It's a low enough cooldown.
Yeah, I mean,
the mana cost for support is way too substantial to sustain.
You're going to have to use both hands if you're going to get more than one person off in a fight.
Whoa. Are you trying to...
I'm making fun of your...
You are, aren't you? And then it went back and forth, and then you got it, and then I got it.
And then it took you a second,
and then it took me a second.
But you got it. That's what's important.
I was just reading Mystic Flare to make sure it still isn't called Arcane Barrage over here.
That's important.
That is an important fact check. But yeah, no, I totally get it. And that's why I kind of compare him in a way. Now, obviously, Lion, it's hard to compare two heroes in general. Every hero is obviously different. But when you want to try to compare him as a support role, you say, what does each one bring? Well, Lion's got two forms of CC. One's an AoE CC, technically. Lion CC. And then Lion's got a line. All right, sorry, that was really lame. That hit my head, just went there. And my words came out for whatever reason. And obviously, Skywrath's not used for the CC. I mean, he's got one. But then he obviously brings the burst. He brings the burst and he brings the silence. So I guess it depends. What are you looking to craft with your team? Do you need more crowd control? Well, no. We got Tidehunter off lane. We got, I don't know, someone else.
You got people and
you have other heroes. You're Faceless and you have Tidehunter. Okay, no. We don't need crowd control. All right. Let's get Scrybath.
Sit down. You're done.
I've already seen it. I can't do much more than this.
Stand up, you're done.
Really, post-hour, we start going a little crazy. Where was I going with that? Yeah, you don't need crowd control. Don't look at the chat. They're probably feeding us lies. You don't need the crowd control. All you need is love. God, we need to do this in person all the time.
It's damage.
I don't think our viewers agree with that statement, but that's fine.
The Arcane Barrage.
Yes.
Going back to the Arcane Barrage.
God.
No, yeah, the Mystic Player, and it's on a shorter cooldown if you're going to compare to Lion, too. I think that's important. You have damage often.
Right. And
that's something that Skywrath brings. And the more items he gets, the more often he can bring the damage. Because the cooldowns are so low on everything except for Concussive Shot. So,
Concussive Shot, rather, obviously Arcane Bolt is where your bread and butter is throughout the team fight. You're just, every couple seconds, you're throwing one off. You're probably using your utility items that you bought, like a Force Staff or a Rod of Atos, hopefully, or whatever you've gotten at this point. But yeah, I mean, who knows? It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if he actually does pop out. I would give him the thumbs up if he did. I would. I'd say, you go.
So I'll pop out in a tri-lane this week, and all I gotta do is find somebody to play him. And to my support Zeus, and to somebody else carrying it.
And the carry doesn't matter.
Go Luna. Who cares? Ancient Seal, Lucent Beam, Duncan.
Luna's so boring.
You're boring.
I'll go Faceless.
Anyway.
Aghanim's Faceless. That sounds pretty fun. I haven't done it yet.
Aghanim's Luna. Most fun. With Ancient Seal.
Alright, let's go to What the Nuts then. It's not a lot, but we gotta jump right in because that relates way too perfectly.
You're welcome. Segue.
Wow, perfectly done.
Brought to you by BDLM.
Of course, first time ever in 93 episodes. So, so all three of mine actually relates to the GEST challenge. So you guys should watch those games, is what I'm trying to say, because apparently teams go crazy when they're over there. So let's just start off with the one you were talking about, Dreamtime versus Newbie. Luna goes to that Blink Dagger, like we were saying. Mobility. How often do you see Luna with a Blink Dagger? I'd say, on a scale from 1 to ever, 1. But it was interesting because she would go and she could use it for both. Obviously, the escape or the initiation. She used it for both. She initiated with it as well, which Lunas generally are not the initiators. But yeah, she would go ham. She would just pop her ult, blink into the middle of the team, and say, "What's up?" and just start attacking like crazy. She didn't even get lifesteal. She was going all these other insane items that game, which was very bizarre. Like you said, went Aghanims. But here's the weird part.
It
was like a 5th item Aghanims or something. It was not one of her first 3. It was a very late. It was like 45-minute Aghanims. We were all like, why in the world do you all of a sudden want that? And one of the people were saying, oh, well, tankiness, right?
No.
I think there's a lot of items that give tankiness that, I don't know, lifesteal for one. Maybe Satanic would help out. I don't know. But, I don't know, you just took my notes down, so now I'm freaking out.
No,
I'm just freaking out like crazy.
We're sharing a computer and it's not working.
We haven't really mastered this whole setup yet, believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe that. And yeah, she was against a Doom, a Rubik, and a Quap. So, I guess I was saying that for the purpose of, well, those people are really good at either mobility or locking you down. Well, if you get the blink, time it right, and of course all these people have freaking lightning reflexes. So, you see Quap blink in. Whoop, I'm going to blink to the trees and TP out. It's just, Blink Dagger's become this item now that's just popping up on heroes you just would least expect. Just, I guess it's purely for the mana cost reason, but also because it's just such a good item in general. that players aren't afraid to pick it up if they feel they need it for that kind of instant access.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I liked that was brought up in that game, I mean, I have to start this off by saying I think this is one of the most painful games to watch in a really long time, because this was the game where Ty dies and then doesn't do anything and gives up Ravage for the 7th time in a row. So,
I think they won that game, too.
Mistakes were made. I think they did, too.
That's the sad part. Yeah.
But the two things I did really like is, okay, you have Doom if you already got the lightning strikes of your Lucent Beams coming down, you get doomed. And also mentioning, BKBs are getting on low cooldown. The heroes aren't having the opportunities to stop and farm a fresh BKB. You're going to have a couple of seconds where you saw beams firing. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. But, yeah, like you mentioned, I feel like it was weird that it was such a late item, because while Doom is going to shut down some of your auto-attacking items, some of your lifesteal, what have you, I feel like if I wanted to see an Aghanim Scepter, I think it would be hilarious and decent to do, like, a Blink Dagger Aghanim's Refresher. Make it rain on the hose. You
that
always
would be,
have it available.
That would be many hose rained upon.
Yeah.
Yes, good tense usage. I like it.
Thank you.
But the other thing, besides the extra couple beams you get, it's now unlimited on targets. So it's capped out before Aghanims. Now you can hit the same target all 12 times, if the Fates have it that way. Mm-hmm. So I still don't think it's a good item to get on her at that point in the game. But it's just interesting also, and that may be the reason she really wanted it, was to say, hey, if I'm against these two heroes or one hero, pop my ulti, no matter what, it's going to hit this hero unlimited times and do its full potential, which, without BKB, is a good amount of damage you have to give her. So, I don't know. Just Blink Aghanims, very, very what the nuts.
I wonder if I would like Shadowblade better. I don't think I do. But I feel like you have so much potential to just be around things.
I hate Shadowblade more and more.
Blink Dagger. Wow. All right.
I do.
Okay.
I just think it's way too easy to counter in this day and age.
Yeah.
That it's just not worth it. Now, Dragon Knight may be one of the few heroes I still like it on. I just feel like it's a good item for him. I can't even explain other than that.
Okay.
I think it's just a good item.
Fair. Okay.
Seeing a dragon pop out of nowhere, I like it. But
yeah,
otherwise, I don't know. I maybe Shadowblade Ricky, I get it. But besides these kind of things,
things that make sense.
Things that make sense
all the time.
I don't know. But Blink obviously is kind of the penultimate, like really great mobility item you're going to get. The only things that counter it is damage, which if you can avoid it, if you're quick enough, you're good.
Yeah. But I was just going to say to the point of, I feel like the number of times you blink in or you try to get a decent position and then you try to make it rain Lucent Beams and they're like, oh, hey, I'm in a lane and there are creeps here, so everything's fine. And I'm not going to get hit a million times. Whereas if you have the Shadowblade, you go like, I'm going to sneak up on you and I'm going to make sure that I get this off a decent location where you're going to get hit by more than 4 Lucent Beams. I don't know. It's a suspect thing in general, I feel like. So it's weird. It was neat to see. I just can't.
We won't see it again. I'll put it that way. We will not see it again.
I'd love to see it used again for a really obvious reason and work really well at that thing, and that would be amazing. I just don't know what that thing is, when it's going to happen, and why there isn't any other reason to deal with it, or any other way to deal with it. But anyway, what the nuts?
Moving on.
What the nuts?
Exactly. That's why we're calling it that segment. So another game was Dreamtime versus LGD. It was game 2. And FY was playing Disruptor. He got his Aghanims and got a Refresher. So pretty farm support hero, you might want to say. He was able, in one of the very important later game fights, drop 2 Connect Fields and a Static Storm on each one. Right away.
Jesus.
It was insane, but what really made it cool was he had a Naga Siren on his team. And back in the day, Naga Siren plus Darkseer was the thing, because you could vacuum select units, and it was like, wow, this combo is so awesome. These days, you don't really have those cool combos. Yeah, Enigma, okay, can kind of set it up. Ravage, okay, can kind of set it up. But Disruptor never thought about which I don't know why I never thought about it. But yeah, he was able to. Naga slept, run right in, got a few different heroes. He laid up this kinetic field, the storm, refresh, kinetic field, storm, slept, and everyone's trapped in silence. They can't use their items, they can't do anything, and his team just tears them apart. I mean, refresher Aghanim, you liking that?
That's hilarious. Wow, where are you getting this farm from?
I don't know where he got the farm from. I watched it. When I first saw that stat, I was like, was he mid-disruptor? Like, how did he get these items?
Maelstrom first to farm with, and then...
He's the Lightning King. He needs this. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, that's going to be great. I feel like...
I almost wonder if Naga was, like, almost essential, though, to really make that shine.
I don't think so. Because that, I also think, is a refresher that you don't have to use immediately, or it's not about getting... two back-to-back. I feel like you could go kinetic field, static storm, and then something happens, and then you need it again shortly afterwards, or you don't get the type of engagement you want, and now it's available again. You know, being able to glimpse again. I mean, all of his abilities rather strong. In the late game, obviously, Thunderstrike's not going to be a huge deal.
No.
But I don't think you have to do the double Ravage. You don't have to do a double Black Hole.
That's the double Ravage right there. Yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
just... being able to pop it again, have it available, have all those abilities ready are nice. That's, I mean, a great setup. You can't plan for a Disruptor to have these items. There was a Safe Lane Disruptor game, which I don't know why I haven't mentioned that in a What the Nuts. I wish I could remember what game it was.
Please do remember.
It was a dual lane safe Disruptor. He farmed. It lost terribly. He didn't do anything. Nothing happened. He didn't go Ags.
That's so
He had
boring.
Something else. Why would you do this? Why would you do this?
So shame.
Why?
Much dishonor to Famery. Oh boy. Well, that was that cool thing. And finally, this may have been more trolly than What the Nuts, but I'm just gonna lay it out there anyway.
There's more trolly than What the Nuts. Okay.
Hero versus DK.
Yeah.
DDZ Invoker went Dagon into Shadowblade as safe lane Exort.
Perfect.
Please, as I know this is like your favorite player, please explain in great detail why he would go such a build.
Now he's no Artesis.
Well, no, Artesis saves.
Artesis has been known to save on occasion.
Yes.
I don't know. That's just weird. That's just weird.
That's why I think troll maybe was a more accurate term, because it literally made just about no sense.
I can only imagine that it was Game 5 of the finals of a $100,000 tournament.
Of course, that's where you try those kind of things out.
Yeah.
Shadowblade, either of those items. Alright, I'm trying to justify Shadowblade right now.
Nope.
You can't.
Bill, you have to go Quas Exort, so you don't get the Wex for Ghost Walk.
That's why.
So you get more damage and attack speed to pew pew.
And then the Dagon
Is to troll
Sunstrike and Dagon. It's bad. It was bad. They did not win.
You know,
they did not win with that build somehow.
Dagon is a great item sometimes. So it's almost like no. Dagon. Oh, this is a beautiful thought. As soon as I put it together in my head, Dagon is an item that is great per time, not necessarily per hero. There are heroes where you go, yeah, Dagon. But then if you can get a Dagon at a particular time in the game early enough against a certain lineup, it doesn't matter who it's on, because the fact is you're going to be doing bajillions of damage.
Bajillions. Maybe even 400.
Technically 400 to bajillions of damage. And so if you can just walk up to somebody and make them explode, it really doesn't matter who you are as a hero.
Right.
You could be the courier, as long as you can cast it.
Well,
could
the courier
be the
can't,
bear.
so we know that.
Energy booster on the bear with the Dagon. Make it happen. It really doesn't matter if you can use that item to get an advantage. And I think that, you're going to find heroes you go like, Wraith King Dagon, new meta? It's a thing. It's happened. I promise it's happened. Because the item doesn't matter per hero. It matters per time and per
it's true.
The heroes you're against. That's all the wisdom.
The worst, though, is when you have the pub Nature's Prophet who doesn't even do anything but just build
Just
the
Dagon.
Dagon. and then proceeds to feed the rest of the game because he just teleports into Dagons and dies. That's... I think Joe did that to us once. But, yeah, I don't know. These things happen. But, yeah, that's kind of our what the nuts. I found those. And like I said, it's all in the same tournament. They were like back-to-back games. So I don't know what was going on, what was in the water over there.
Man.
But
Asians are going crazy.
They sure were. But you got any other facts? I mean, I think we covered a lot this episode.
I'm out of facts.
I have to say, I really want to know what people think about this setup. Obviously, it's very...
Listen, there's going to be a studio. It's a fact. At some point in the future, 30 to 50 years from now, there'll be a studio. We're going to be in the home, and we're just going to scribble in crayons on the wall, DoD in the back, and the nurses will yell at us. We won't care. We won't even be able to hear them. We'll be half dead. Yeah, it won't matter. There will be, and it will be done a little bit more professionally than us in chairs next to one another with your beautiful
this wall.
Apartment bedroom.
Thank you.
In the background.
It is beautiful.
But, yeah, hopefully we can get more of these slightly more professionally set up.
Absolutely.
Not the
Nothing unprofessional happened tonight, though. That was the thing.
No. Anyway.
I missed completely.
You did.
Yeah, so...
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, let's wrap this up before it goes any silly. Right
so,
recap. Twitter question. Of those 8 of the model updates, we want to know who you... I'm pointing at the mic because apparently you can see that. Who you would like to see get that model update. Send us a tweet, send us a Facebook post, message, Merbobber, send us a YouTube comment, whatever you can do. Email us at doteondemand.com. We got it all, and send us and let us know what you think.
Yeah, go out there and play some Dota, watch some Dota. As I always like to tell you, we will be playing Dota and watching it this week. Hope you guys do too. ESL Frankfurt again is this weekend. Watch that. Play with us. We do that now. We'll be doing that this week. Getting some games with you guys would be nice. Someone carry for the Skyrath Zeus lane. That's all I'm asking. Somebody get in there, fill that role, make it happen, and yeah, see you guys next week.